Hello everyone, welcome to the channel of MeteoMark Weather. It's great to have you here with me as always. We're going to be heading throughout Christmas week here. First, we're going to start off with the tropics quick. We're going to be watching some big moisture action. Could this transpire into the new year? We'll take a look, see which areas could see this unusual surge of tropical moisture. And we're watching that major surge of Arctic blast across the east. Is that going to last through Christmas and New Year's? We'll get into all the details for you. And could we be looking at some Christmas Eve snow here with a storm system moving across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, into the parts of the Northeast? We'll see which areas stand the chance to see a white Christmas. And we'll look at your winter storm outlook as we cross over into New Year's week, into the new year, and see if there's any chances of major East Coast snowstorm action. Let's get into it. All right, so here are the tropics. We're going to take a look at a few things here before we get into our winter storm outlook. You can see as we head through Christmas Eve, yeah, there is some moisture here with this front that's hanging out just north of Jamaica and right across just north of Dominican Republic and Haiti. Most of the moisture is trapped down here through Costa Rica and Panama, though. We'll watch this bubble up as we head throughout the week. Look at this. This is what I wanted to tell you about. There is a lot of moisture, a big, strong tropical wave. It kind of moves right between Central America and Jamaica, but I think coastal areas of both regions could get clipped here. And unfortunately, this is heading up towards South Florida, the Yucatan Peninsula. You can see some very heavy rain moving in here, so we'll watch for that prospect. And as we head through the 26th into the 27th, this has its eye on Florida. You can see right up through this region on the west side, southwest side of this high pressure. And look at here across the Western Caribbean. We dry it out just slightly with showers continuing across Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands over here. Panama getting socked in with rainfall. Honduras looks a little bit drier this week. You're still going to get some rain, though. We'll go over those rainfall amounts momentarily here. But look at this as we head into the 29th, into the 30th, the 31st, and the new year. I wanted to show you this little feature. This is a little troubling. We're going to get some moisture from the eastern Pacific crossing over, and this is going to surge some moisture up here along a washed out frontal boundary. As we head on into the 31st, into the 1st, here's the new year. This is kind of crazy as we head all the way through the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. There's that north coast of Honduras getting hit with these moisture flows out of the east and northeast regions, and then down here through Costa Rica here in Panama. Showers continuing across Jamaica, parts of the Dominican Republic, and Haiti. Most of these areas in Jamaica will be northeastern Jamaica, right around that Portland parish. But look at this. We actually have a stalled frontal boundary by this point on the 7th. I'll show you on this on the dry air loop momentarily. This might help to maybe put a dent in the tropical moisture. All right, so hopping over to the European run, let's take a look and see what's going on here. There it is, showing up very prominently on the European model. There is that axis of heavier precipitation, heavier rain showers stretching from Panama and Costa Rica all the way up through Puerto Rico here, so in Dominican Republic. So the showers just continuing. And as we head through the 23rd into the 24th, you see that axis heading to the northwest here in response to that wave. So watch out, blocking high up here across the Gulf and the Bahamas, keeping you drier. But as we head through the 24th, look at this. This is a big blob of moisture. You don't see this in December. This is not normal. This is not average at all. This is a big surge of unusual tropical moisture. These low pressure systems have been very unusual, stretching on into December here. And will this stretch on into early January? Here we go, Christmas Day. That surge of moisture heading right up across Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, continuing to get socked in, even clipping parts of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands here, all the way up the Yucatan coast, the 26th into the 27th. Yeah, we're going to start to include South Florida back in the act of things as well through the western Bahamas. So look at this. You can see the trend here. Much more moisture in time throughout the western Caribbean. So as we head through the 27th, we got a couple more frames to show you here. Look at this. As we head right, that last frame, our precipitation frame, the 27th, right after 2 days after Christmas, you can see our heaviest precipitation just hanging out around the Jamaica area with heavy showers and thunder shower potential. And thanks to Tropical Tidbits for our mid-layer dry and moist air analysis here. As we stretch on into Monday into Tuesday, you can see the axis of the heaviest rainfall moving across the central and the western Caribbean here with all this moist air. And we're going to have two areas Christmas Day. Look at this surge. Much of it going between Jamaica and Central America, but it will be clipping the north coast of Honduras all the way down the east coast here. Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, watch out. We'll get into rainfall amounts momentarily, but we got another surge area coming up from the eastern Pacific across the Yucatan. We're eventually going to get the western Bahamas and Florida in on the act. And as we head towards Friday into Saturday next weekend, you can see this moisture just hangs out across. This looks like the first frame, essentially, right across Panama and Costa Rica, all the way up through the Puerto Rico area and Dominican Republic. Now, here it is on January 1st. That frontal boundary tries to make it to the south here. It might make it through parts of Jamaica, but we still see that moist layer across southern Caribbean here. This is crazy. We're going into the first week of January, and we're still talking about tropical moisture hanging out. As we look at the European run, we'll compare it here. Yeah, look at this. Here's Christmas Eve, trying to close off some area of low pressure here with our wave action. And then as we head through Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday, a very similar picture on the European run. We're just going to continue this tropical moisture across the central and western Caribbean towards Central America. All right, so taking a look at the tropics here for moisture, this is some good news. It looks like most of the heaviest moisture with this next tropical wave remains mostly offshore. North coast of Honduras will get clipped a little bit here, according to the GFS, upwards of 60 to 100 millimeters. That's a lot less than it has been. Jamaica, northeastern area, Portland Parish, upwards of 100 to 120 millimeters, getting up towards 2.5 to 4 inches. So yeah, these areas down in through Costa Rica here could get upwards of 400 millimeters, getting up towards the 5, 8, 10 inch range. So watch out here. And looking at the European model here, yeah, look at this. European keeping most of the heaviest moisture offshore as well, down in through Costa Rica here. Northern coast of Honduras, as we take it through next Saturday, you can see getting upwards close to 90, 100, 110 millimeters. So watch out here. Very localized along the north coast, even northeastern Jamaica here. But most of the rest of Jamaica getting 10 millimeters and under. So up through the Hispaniola area, also 40 to, right around 40 millimeters. And cruising over to the eastern Caribbean here, you can see that tropical wave, that surge of moisture. Thankfully, it's light, 35 to 50 millimeters on average here, getting up towards 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Drier times this week, though, the Lesser Antilles, Trinidad, Tobago, you're not eking out any more than about 6 to 13 millimeters, less than 1/4 inch on average. All right, so let's take a look at the future radar here. You can get an idea, see what's going to be happening over the next 24 to 72 hours. So it's looking pretty quiet. Like I said, the system we're going to be watching is up here, the energy across the northern Midwest and up here into Ontario, Canada. So let's put this into motion as we head throughout the 22nd into the 23rd. We get into your Monday. There it is. Precipitation streaming all the way from Texas, all the way up into parts of the Ohio Valley and the southern Midwest here. Look at this. Some mixed precipitation around Chicago here, heading just north of Detroit up towards northern Michigan here. This is going to pinwheel. This is 1 p.m. all the way through 7 p.m. So it starts out as rain in Cleveland down to Toledo. You're teetering right on the edge of some snow there. But watch as we head out here in time. The cold air, as this precipitation gets a burst of heavier snow, you get that adiabatic cooling bringing down some of that cold air. So we'll get some wet snowflakes around Cleveland, Erie, Buffalo. We could be heading up towards 1 to 2 inches in some areas. This is a very sharp line, too. This is 1 a.m. on Christmas Eve morning. Look at this, a surge of snow. So you're going to pick up a quick 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches here. That's heading towards Binghamton right around 3 a.m., the I-81 corridor down to Williamsport, and then right through Harrisburg, 4, 5, 6 a.m., And then we have some generalized snow showers through 11 a.m. here into parts of the Northeast and heading up towards Maine and Nova Scotia. So look at this. This could be an exciting quick couple of inches for many areas trying to re-solidify that white Christmas. And then as we head throughout the southern stream of this system, we do get a piece of energy coming out of the Carolinas here. This will promote some rainfall, maybe some fringes here in Richmond, some mixed snowflakes and ice pellets mixing in. We'll have to watch for that possibility. But here we go. Just behind that, we have another system across the southern plains. Look at the mesoscale, NAM 3 kilometer snowfall amounts here. There we go. It gets us through, this is through late Tuesday night. So the NAM 3 kilometer going pretty conservative here, but you get the idea. 1.6 inch Cleveland, just under an inch Pittsburgh to Binghamton. So northwest of this line, you can see that's where we're going to see those amounts that could bring us that white Christmas. And many areas already saw snow here in interior parts of the Northeast as we headed on into Friday night and Saturday morning, especially some lake-enhanced snow. So many areas getting a white Christmas interior Northeast here. And before I continue with more weather coverage here, don't forget, if you haven't caught my winter 2024-25 Outlook, it's a link in the description down below and at the end of this video. If you made it this far in the video and you like it, smash that like button, everyone. It really does help. Question or comment down below. I'd love to read your questions or comments. Share the video with all your friends and family. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe bell notification button so you're alerted with all my future weather video updates. Let's continue. And Eric Rensselaer from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. Here on December 20th at 3:10 p.m., you can see all these snowflakes falling here, piling up on the lawns, looking really nice, putting you in that festive spirit. Look at that. Nice captures there, Derek. Enjoy it. Hopefully we can get a little bit more as we head on into Christmas Eve. And John sending in his photo here from East Norwalk, Connecticut, I-95 corridor. Yeah, he had a snowstorm the other day, accumulating here. You can see it on the sides of the roads, looking very nice and picturesque here, just in time for the holiday season. Nice captures there, John. And Jim pointing out here from the Connecticut, Massachusetts area, Quabbin Reservoir, some lake effect snow just the other day. Look at this coming right down the pike here. You can see it right on the radar. Very nice capture of a rare lake effect snow event here coming off the reservoir. Nice capture there on radar, Jim. And he indicated that it was interesting, really nice to see such a small pond type area create such a nice lake effect snow event. And heading over into where our future radar picked up here, as we continue with the wintry precipitation mode here, we're looking, there it is. There's what our future radar was showing, that burst of heavier snow Monday night into Tuesday morning, bringing some quick 1 to as much as 2 inches, locally higher 3 inches. But here we go through the day after Christmas into next weekend. Yeah, this is the surge of warm air that I was talking about. Rainfall all the way up to Ohio and western Pennsylvania. Even up into parts of Ontario, we're getting that rain-snow line really pushed to the north. This may actually be a round of severe storms here across the lower plains and Mississippi River Valley. Many of you in Ohio were asking, how warm could this get? And it looks like this could get pretty warm. And yes, that's a convective line of storms, potentially all the way up into Ohio and southern Ontario as we head into the 29th, into the 30th. It does weaken, and since we have such a ridge of high pressure across eastern Canada, that energy dives south off the coast of the Carolinas as we head on into the 31st, New Year's Eve here. And then this is what I wanted to show you on the GFS. We have 2 pieces of energy New Year's Day. Watch this. These try to come together later on in the week. This is the middle part of the week, right along the U.S. East Coast. We'll have to see if this does flare up. There it is. That's actually the 4th. So what's left of this system kind of hangs out off the U.S. East Coast. Another shortwave moving through parts of the Ohio Valley. And we do start to see evidence of an interior snowstorm trying to take shape across the Northeast. It's a long shot this far out, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. All right, so let's take a look at the European run, comparing that to the GFS run. Here's our system heading on into the first part of the weekend. Here's Friday into Saturday. Yeah, the energy doesn't quite capture in phase to bring us a major East Coast snowstorm here. It's more for Southeast Canada. So as we continue to go out in time, this is what I really wanted to focus on On a European run, there's our very weak Alberta clipper here on the 23rd at 4 p.m. You see that sweeping to the east here, you start to get into this snowfall. So 4 a.m. on Christmas Eve morning. And here it is on the Euro. It's heading out to sea already. So yeah, models have really sped things up. That will cut down on snowfall accumulations. Nevertheless, I still think we'll see 1 to 3 inches in many areas. That could get us into White Christmas territory in some areas. And looking at snowfall amounts here on our GFS, you can see a lot of this in the Northeast, falling later Monday night into Tuesday, helping to guarantee some of these areas to get a White Christmas. It's not getting anywhere near the coastline here, as you can see. Out west, that mountain snow just blasting. Now, as we head through the new year here, look at this. So we head into that first weekend of the new year. Trends have been to bring a major snowstorm to the interior parts of the Northeast, with snowfall amounts close to a foot in some areas. And if we take a look at the European run, you can see very similar here. Interior Northeast, we'll zoom in on this, about an inch or two heading on into Christmas Eve morning. But there it is. This takes us through Saturday. December 28th, you can see parts of the interior Northeast adding a little bit. Now, as we can go a little bit beyond here on the European, the previous run. You can see as we head into New Year's, yeah, the first weekend, the GFS had a big snowstorm, but the European is going much further west now on the snowfall amounts here into parts of the Midwest and the Central Plains, getting upwards at 6 to 12 inches. All right, so getting into the Northeast with our European snowfall amounts, this is going to be exciting as we get into, here it is, Monday night and Tuesday, especially interior parts of western Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania, up through parts of northern New England, a generalized average of 1 to 2 inches here. So this will help guarantee some areas for the White Christmas. And just heading further out here on the European run, we do get another area Thursday night and Friday that could fall across upstate New York into Vermont, New Hampshire, adding to those totals another inch or two likely. And then as we head into, here it is, Friday, January 3rd, this is a shot of lake effect and lake enhanced snow on the backside of a system. And we take a look at the GFS here. Very similar, a little bit less on the totals Christmas Eve, but you get the idea. 1 to 2 inches, interior parts of New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this. This one has Cleveland at about 1.2 inches, Erie 2.2, Binghamton just under an inch, Syracuse 2 inches, Pittsburgh 1.7. So you get the idea here. And then it's stretching into northern New England. As we head throughout the week into New Year's week, it's not until that first weekend, right around the 4th and 5th, look at this, showing a major snowstorm interior parts of the Northeast, 6-inch plus amounts. So progressing throughout the week on our European run for liquid equivalent precipitation amounts. Yeah, the Pacific Northwest getting blasted here. Look at these amounts, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches. Down into parts of the southern plains here, we're also going to see 2 to 3 inches. But look at here in the Ohio Valley into the Northeast. Yeah, most of this will fall. Or Christmas Eve, we see an additional a dose of 1/10 to 1/4 of inch with some wet snowflakes, maybe some rain mixing in the Ohio Valley. And then as we head on into Friday, Saturday, you can see right around the Great Lakes, we get another storm system pushing up. So upwards of a 1/2 inch in some of these areas. Look at off the coast of the Carolinas, though. This is where we'll see 1 to 2 inches just offshore. And here we go. Look at the GFS. Very similar this week. Pretty much the same areas getting it. Now, this can progress further into the new year here as we get into Sunday, January 5th. You can see, look at this. We get some East Coast action going on here. We'll have to see if some of this taps into some moisture and some cold air on the west side. But the storm track is definitely up in this region, especially as we head just before New Year's. All right, so our upper air pattern here for this week on the European run, a massive firecracker ridge pushing throughout much of the east here. Look at the trough dig in the Pacific Northwest as we head through next Saturday, but look at this firecracker ridge here. It's helping to push and keep all these storms well out to sea. Now, getting into the GFS run, let's take the latest run here. It can get us out further. So this week, the GFS really agreeing with the European model. That's no doubt. Let's head into New Year's here. You can see what's happening, an active storm track here across the southeast, but it's very progressive because we have this ridge of high pressure across eastern Canada, blocking these systems from really heading up the east coast. And this is Thursday, the 2nd. It's not until about the 4th or the 5th the GFS is indicating that we could have at least a neutral tilt to this trough, or maybe it might try to go negatively tilted. We'll have to wait and see on this one because it does start a negative tilt, but further once it gets off the coast. But unfortunately for you snow lovers, look what's going on here. So we head through the 7th of January, a big firecracker ridge kicking in, but we got to watch because there is a big trough kicking in just behind it here. And if we take a look at the NAO index, yeah, we're still really, really positive on the NAO. So that's not very conducive for especially East Coast cold and snowstorms, although we are getting a lot of cold as we stretch on into this weekend early this week. But look at how it goes more neutral to even slightly negative as we get into the first week of January. And I wanted to show you this, the MJO index. This is really good indicator of how active things could be along the U.S. East Coast and Eastern North America. So we're right around phase 6, borderline 5th. This is going to progress through next week, especially into the first week of the new year, going to phases 7 and 8. That is more active and conducive for East Coast cold and snowstorms and more of a blocking pattern. So we might actually have some chances as we get into early to mid part of January. And heading on into Canada, your winter storm outlook, it starts off quiet with the exception for the west coast here, British Columbia, with these Pacific systems moving in. We have a little clipper moving through southern Ontario and eventually Quebec here as we head on into the 23rd, Monday, into the 24th, Tuesday. You can see that kind of takes over. Let me just back that up. There to go. So 10 p.m. on Monday night. Look at snowfall falling across Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal. You could pick up, anywhere from 5, 6, 7, 8 centimeters in some of these areas. So watch out. That's going to clip parts of southern New Brunswick and Nova Scotia with some bursts of heavier snow as we head through Christmas Eve. So that's pretty exciting. Nova Scotia, you could get several centimeters here. So watch out for that. And look at this as we head on into the 27th. Yeah, the rain snow line moving all the way up into northern Ontario here. So let's just progress this in time. The storm track heading much further west here. So we're going to pull that rain snow line all the way up into Quebec here. Taking a breather out west here along British Columbia. And watch this as we go out here in time. I think as we head through the new year, here's the 3rd into the 4th. Yeah, some storm system action out in the west coast. We have a strong clipper out here. Manitoba could see some bursts of heavier snow. But watch southeast Canada here. I think you're going to really start to get on in the act of some snowstorm action as we head through the 5th and the 6th. Look at this low pressure system with associated trough. Right on the back edge of this is where we could see some potential blizzard conditions if this run verifies. And snowfall here across Canada. Of course, the west coast getting upwards of 80 to 130 centimeters in those higher elevations. But look at this as we head into the new year. Yeah, models are trending west with this snow. Quebec, the big winner here, parts of New Brunswick, as we head on into the Canadian Maritimes. We're going to see snow pile up, especially into the new year through January 6th. We could get upwards of 25 30 centimeters in some of these areas, generalized 15 to 30 centimeters averaging out on average. And stretching up into Canada here, liquid equivalent precipitation. Of course, the west coast here getting close to 150, 250 millimeters on average here, getting up towards 5 to 8 inch range. But at southeast Canada, as we head into the new year, this is where we're going to start to see a lot of moisture kick in with some of these coastals. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, eastern Quebec, Prince Edward Island. That's where you're going to see upwards of 80 to 100 millimeters on average, getting you up towards the 3.5 inch range. All right, so the Western Pacific, we're talking about tropical depression number 28, likely to become our next tropical storm and affect southern Vietnam here. So that's what we're going to be watching for as we go out here in time. Thankfully, it's only going to kick up near 40 to 45 miles per hour with gusts near 50. But as we go out here in time, I wanted to show you this because we have a lot of tropical wave action. We're going to be watching one here, and another one out here. So watch out. I think we're going to head into an active period of tropical storm, maybe even typhoon action. Right around the 30th into the 31st, the GFS continues to show a very large area of potential tropical storm activity. Also another area here near South Vietnam. So watch out. Yeah, we could be looking at a couple tropical storms here east of the Philippines as we head into the first full week of the new year. These areas do eventually get caught up here in the westerlies, though, which is some good news. And here in the Western Pacific, you can see Rainfall amounts are going to be hefty around the Philippines here. This is where especially the east-facing coastlines here and slightly inland, 250, close to 350 millimeters of rainfall. That's getting you up towards the danger zone, 6, 7, 8, as high as 10 inches in some areas. And before we continue with more weather, check out these awesome, amazing maps that you won't find anywhere else.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
All right, so take a look at temperatures here. We're going to erode that cold air in the northeast. Obviously, Monday, December 23rd here, we're holding on to snowpack, and we may add some more here Monday night into Tuesday. Here's some 20s in New England, parts of interior New York and Pennsylvania, and the Midwest. So as we progress throughout the week, many of you have travel plans more towards Christmas Eve. We are warming it up in the Northeast, but many of these areas could see interior snowflakes falling here. We start to get into the 40s parts of the Ohio Valley. That's denting your chance of a white Christmas. But look at this. Yeah, the cold air still holding tough across the Northeast as we head on into Christmas Day, but a warming trend is going to ensue as we head late Christmas week here. You can see 50s. Heading right up into parts of the Ohio Valley and the upper Mississippi River Valley. And then as we progress towards Friday, December 27th, look at this. We're getting up into the upper 30s, lower 40s into parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, and 50s here into the Ohio Valley. Lots of 70s along the Gulf Coast here. But look at this. Ahead of this next front storm system as we head on to Saturday, December 28th, mid to high 50s in parts of the Ohio Valley. A extended forecast from our hometown viewers. Bring them to the Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley, New York, and Pennsylvania. Look at this Monday morning. That is going to be unbelievably painful here. We could see -5 to -10 below in those normally colder valleys of the Susquehanna River Valley. But it will get into the sunny range with increasing clouds. We'll make it up towards the mid to high 20s. Now, Monday night here, look at snow showers developing, about an inch of accumulation, maybe less than an inch on Tuesday as that system pulls away. So white Christmas guaranteed. As we head into Christmas Day, you'll be in the low to mid 30s, mostly cloudy skies. But look at that. The sun appears Thursday and into Friday. We actually warm it towards 40 degrees. Thanks everyone for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather, Winter, and Tropical Edition. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, smash that like button, question or comment down below, share, and subscribe. Everybody, I'd love to hear from you. I'm on social media at Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, and also on Twitter at Weather Eastern. Thanks everyone. Have a great holiday.